My name is AFLO the poet.
Don't perpetuate dark imaginings. Smile with your heart. Be honest with yourself.
They say history repeats itself, but it actually never left. Being reprimanded or cursed for knowing my worth leaves a hollow in my chest.
So stay down if you're down with the white institution. We're black and we're brown and we are the revolution. Hello wonderful people, my name is AFLO the Poet and I would like to introduce you to another episode of AFLO and the Poets. We will be using this space to uplift the voices of black people and people of colour, and each episode I'll be inviting another poetic creative to chat with me and to share their work with all of you. 2020 has been a rough ride for many, particularly for the black community. Black Lives Matter has picked up a lot of momentum this year, with many people promising they would be listening to black voices from now on. Here is your opportunity. Throughout history, we have used creative outlets as a way of healing ourselves while sharing our messages with the wider community. And that is exactly what AFLO and the Poets is all about. We hope you enjoy the show. For our first poetic offering, this is Brewing the Revolution. Each morning I wait, head back to the counter, but then I hesitate. The revolution is coming. Be patient. Don't throw your weight around if you're not ready. Steady your hands, calm your nerves, occupy your mind. More preparation will pass the time. I pace, brace and embrace, we percolate. We take deep breaths, repress distress, profess to wanting something more. The revolution is coming. Be patient. I guess all we can do is place our feet firmly on the floor. We are well versed. We know the score. The air smells like energy, like new beginnings and old memories. The revolution is coming. Be patient. Don't plunge the cafetiere too soon. Weak coffee will make the journey rough. We need the brew to be strong enough. Hello and welcome to Mrisi. Musician, singer, songwriter, producer, multi-talented man.
Yes, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. You summed it up pretty much. And I run a studio at Mrisi MMW Studios. That's the Instagram handle. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Brighton-based studio.
Yeah,
Black-owned business. Very important. So we actually met like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I think you were doing a political gig.
Yes, Grime for Corbyn, if I remember correctly. It was, yeah, Grime for Corbyn.
On the seafront.
On the seafront, yeah. What was it again? It was
around the election time.
Yeah, because that was why it was, everyone was doing this Grime for Corbyn. The first election, not the second round, but it was the first kind of like when Corbyn was first starting to bubble.
So are politics a big part of your message?
Oh, 100%, yeah. I think, my message is really political more than anything. I mean, I try and do songs, party songs, love songs and things like that. But my main thing where I really find inspiration is through politics and stuff like that.
And why is that? Like, why do you think you harness a creative outlet to get political?
I think partly because of my life and how I've grown up. Obviously, being black in Brighton, there wasn't many of us when I was growing up. So that's one thing. And facing a lot of backlash from that has meant that my music has become political. But I think as well, a lot of the people that I look up to, like my family are quite, or have been, and are still quite politically active. So a lot of the music that I listened to growing up was also politically active, and they were the people that I looked up to. And I just think as well that arts is the best way to spread a message. And
I 100% agree with you, definitely. And I think everything is political.
Yeah, 100%.
I really hate when people say, oh no, I don't want to get political because, I'm sorry, but your whole existence is. But you've actually got a song to share with us.
Yes.
A music video. Yeah. West Baby.
Yeah, West Baby.
Posted on Grime Daily.
Yeah, Grime Daily.
Big things.
Yeah, no, nice one. No, that's a project that I'm really proud of. The concept is about the idea of me being a West Baby as opposed to somebody from Africa. being brought up in the West, but still being, you know, of African descent and having that identity as well. You see what I mean? Yeah, that's kind of the main concept of the tune.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, let's give it a watch and a listen.
Cool.
So this is West Baby.
In a world of more division, no wisdom, too many isms. Corrupted systems always fall on us, the victims. With trust, cause this is just the world that we're living in. There is no moral compass and no country has a bigger sin. Except for the West, maybe, not me, even though I'm a West baby. Living in this Babylon, you know it gets crazy. That's why we bun herbs and we get wavy. 4936 nil, we just chill. Bill Yard, Bill Zola, been all ill will. 4936 nil, we just chill. Bill Yard, Bill Zola, been all ill will. Late nights at the cemetery gates, just trying to read the future. You can either be a winner or you'll be a loser. I'm not trying to be a worm, I'm trying to be a rooster. Making new music on an old computer, cause time keeps rushing and wondering will I get there. I rest barely and sometimes it gets scary. I have to remind myself I'm blessed or I'm stressed out, I get low. Breathe in and let go and let's go. Small things make the biggest difference. Take it step by step and make it bigger and bigger until you get that check. I'm still in the rat race, I haven't left that yet. And I'll always have faith so I can bet my death. In the West maybe Africa, but still I am a West baby. Living in this Babylon, you know it gets crazy. That's why we bun herbs and we get wavy. 4936 nil, we just chill. Bill Yard, Bill Zola, been all ill will. 4936 nil, we just chill. Bill Yard, Bill Zola, been all ill will. I'm under, humble, move like Black Mamba. Blues and the stanza, 2 juice and ganja. Take me back to Fubu and Bluetooth. Alizé blue in the alleyway with my dude Rude. Trying to find the next party a long time before Polo and Ed Hardy. When everything mattered but it didn't really. Now life has the pattern, got the vision clearly. In the West they seek fortune and a couple big breast ladies. Living in this Babylon I just want stability. That's why I bun herb and I deal with synergy.
I love that. I love that, Mrisi.
you,
It's
thank
a really powerful video and really artistically shot.
Yes, yeah. So that was my sister, Gia Makondo Wills, really great photographer, documentary photographer. She was the creative director on that. Sheridan Griffiths, who has a company, Sync, was the filmer. So he was getting the angles and, you know, it was crazy. Safa Garishi also co-produced it, so I produced it, but then he produced it, added, you know, magic, little cherry on top and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was recorded by me. Yeah, and yeah, it's just.
No, it's a great piece of work. It really is.
Thank you.
And like, it doesn't. Where did you film it?
So.
Some really interesting backdrops and scenery.
No, a lot of people have asked this. So I filmed the majority of the video was shot. Well, it's kind of equal, but the horse stuff was in Hickstead, so obviously not too far away from Brighton. And then the other stuff was in Tunbridge Wells, with the rocks and that. Is a place called Harrison's Rocks.
See, I was so sure when I watched it, when you first released it, I was so sure that you'd filmed it in South Africa.
Yeah, no, a lot of people said that. Some people said like Vietnam and places like that, because obviously it's got the fun, it's quite bushy. But no, with I've done a few videos abroad. Like I did a video in Morocco, that was the last video before West Baby. And so I like, with the visuals, for it to be very, just different, you know what I mean? And I think with that area, because I've been there, my grandma used to live around there, so I'd been in Harrison's Rocks quite a bit. And the horse, you know, that obviously that's the reason for that location was the horse, you know. but it just happened to work, and I think the time of year it was short, it was looked lush, so I think that worked. But yeah, a lot of people have said that wasn't necessarily my intention, but
Really?
yeah, no, but because obviously it's so unusual to see those kind of rocks in England, it just came out like that. But yeah, yeah.
It's really fitting with the concept for the
Yes,
song as well.
yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
sure that was all planned anyway.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, Gia definitely smashed it with the kind of the backdrop stuff. So there are a few, obviously, you saw the shots where I've got the kind of backdrops. It's that kind of art, and a lot of the cloth. So like the cloth that I'm shaking on my hand, that's a traditional Shangaan cloth, which is my tribe. And then the
Beautiful.
bowls are like beer bowls, traditional beer bowls, and there's a few little cultural hints in there as well, you know, but trying to
So
mash it up as
beautiful.
well. No, thank you.
Oh, so you're going to be joining us after the break,
Yes, yes, I will.
and Mrisi will be back with me after the break, and Mrisi will be doing a performance here with his keys. So join us. Hello and welcome back to AFLO and the Poets, and we still have the wonderful Mrisi with us. We've also got artwork from Yaz James this week. She is a 21-year-old Brighton-based creative,
Right.
and she actually spends a lot of her time writing personal essays, but she also shoots films and
Right.
creates collages.
Okay.
So we've got a few pieces today,
Yeah.
collages and some photos. I really like the one just behind you
Yes.
about
yes.
policing the police.
Yeah, it's great. It's a true statement, you know. The police need to be policed. You know, there's too much injustice that's unaccounted for in
I
the
hear
police
you.
force. And I think that they themselves need to have some sort of fear that there's going to be backlash, you know, from within their own organisations if they do wrong to people, you know, because the police are just people at the end of the day. And
100%, 100%.
you know, just like in real life, you've got wrong-uns in real life, you've got wrong-uns in the police force, and they're never held accountable, in my experience anyway.
I think rightly so, more attention has been brought on this issue in the last year
Yes,
with
yeah, definitely.
Black Lives Matter protests, which is where this photo was taken.
The
Part of
Brighton.
the revolution, I guess.
Yes, yeah, right, yeah.
Which I guess leads us swiftly and smoothly onto your next performance that you have for us.
Yeah, so that, my next performance is a song called Revolution. Usually it's performed with quite a big live band.
Just stripped back and just you today.
Yeah, so it's just me today. But yeah, the subject matter of that kind of touches on deaths in police custody, basically, and just how black people are seen in this country, and you know how it's like being black in this country, and the kind of dangers we face as black people. Yeah, that's really what Revolution, I would sum it up as that, and a bit of historical context.
Nice.
As well.
I love a bit of historical context.
No.
So this is Revolution.
We talk revolution. They call it conspiracy, we call it history. Same old just a different black. So f***ed up by the patterns that we try to tell the whole story with a fragment. It's dad's struggle, grandma's struggle, sisters, cousins, uncles, aunts, friends, you get the picture. If I had a great British pound sterling for every time they called me nigger, I'd be Lewis Hamilton. Keep calm and carry on. Because we're of the Commonwealth, but the wealth isn't common, you get me, Archie? We're everywhere. Because there was a time when we ran things. The Greeks knew it, but apparently the Romans forgot. The 12 tribes were lost. Nailed to the cross of Stephen Lawrence, Damilola Taylor, Mark Duggan, Smiley Culture, the list is long and the list goes on. Same boat, same song. You know that you was a righteous man. He was from England, but he was an African. You know that you was a righteous man. And he was from England, but he was an African. You know that you was a righteous man. He was from England, but he was an African. You know that you was a righteous man. And he was from England, but he was an African.
I love that one
Thank
so much.
Oh,
I've got the beat in my head. I feel like we don't hear enough jazz anymore,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I love like the smoothness and the unpredictability of it. Like it keeps you
nice
on your toes and really keeps
yeah.
you listening.
No, thank you. Yeah, Revolution. I mean, usually it's performed with a live band, so obviously, you know, that changes the sound. But that was a really, like, it's one of my favorite ones. It started as a Logic loop, that bass line, dum, 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 and then I wrote around that. That was, you know, I wrote the majority of that actually in Mallorca, funnily enough. I was with my mum and my girl. I just was like doing something. I wanted to write some stuff, you know. So I wrote that, brought it back, learnt it on the keys, took it to the band, and then the drum beat is like, I'm like, ka, 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 and it's got that real jazzy vibe about it. It's got guitar in it. It's got Moecha singing, you know, so it's, you know, sax and bass as well that layers over that bass line. So it's like, yeah, and even in terms of the lyrical content, like I really wanted to do something that was more free-flowing poetry, but over such like a beat that you can really move.
It cuts through it entirely.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really, it's beautiful, and you had some really great words in there as well.
Nice.
I think it's hard to pick a favourite line, but I really liked "We're in the Commonwealth, but the wealth ain't common."
Yeah.
Like the hypocrisy in that word hadn't popped up to me before until we started chatting about it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that was. I think actually because I played the Commonwealth Games with a band from Lesotho that were representing Lesotho.
Wow.
In Glasgow, we played. Can't remember what year, and obviously I was thinking a lot about that and how it's such an British institutional thing. So I had second thoughts about performing there, but obviously it's a good opportunity and stuff like that. So I did it. But that Commonwealth thing doesn't make sense. Commonwealth. The wealth isn't common. There's, you know, all of that wealth that they talk about in the Commonwealth is in England. And the majority of the other countries in the Commonwealth are, you know, so-called developing countries. And the people of those countries are poor. They don't have money. So it's like, how can you know, talk about that being a Commonwealth? It's not common. But then I kind of say after that, I say, you get me, Archie.
And who is Archie?
And Archie is Harry and Meghan's son. So that was so it's like also a nod to him, like, you know, you're part of this establishment, you know, but you're one of us as well. Yeah, you know, and then I lead on to say, you know, we're everywhere because we have, even in the royal family, even the pavilion, what's her name? Queen Charlotte, I think. And she was black, very light-skinned, and obviously they pictured her as being white, basically. But yeah, she was a black
I've heard
woman.
lots of stories about this.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of like historical context. It feels you add to your work, your writing, and I'm guessing your everyday life.
Yeah, I mean, I try and look at the past because it kind of shows you the past shows you the present, you know, and even things like, you know, things like the romantics in the French Revolution. There are so many parallels between now and then, you see what I mean, in that how they were fighting in their way and how us as artists fight in our way, you know, and there are so many connections in that sense.
So where can people find you online to get more of your content, hear more of your music, and hear a bit more about your history lessons?
So people can find me at Mrisi Music, so that's Mrisi. For the studio, it's at Mrisi, MMW Studio, same spelling. And just check out my YouTube, check out my Instagram. I'm not necessarily a historian, but you might hear some historic references in my tracks.
No, I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I think you're brilliant, and thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing with us.
Yes.
And yeah, make sure you check Mrisi out. And for our final poem of the episode, this is Black. You are the first thing I see in the morning, and my last sight each night. The backdrop to my dreams, you seem so flat. but your dimensions defy the expectations of prying eyes. Rich, full, thick, dynamic, your breadth and depth span the distance of human existence, and I am in awe of your magic. It's tragic, the misconceptions and malicious directions that have manipulated and perpetuated myths and perceptions that serve to dull your shine. But resilient and ever-present, you stand the test of time. Cold or comforting and all-encompassing, hidden danger or hidden capabilities, the apparent absence of light that makes the stars light up. Despite the dark past and the dark paths, in the beginning and in the end, there is always black. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of AFLO and the Poets. Please join us next time. Until then, take care.